My cousin built his dream house on my inherited land without permission. But when he went on vacation, I had it demolished, and now he has the classic Pikachu shocked face. I never thought I'd have to air my dirty laundry here, but I'm venting because I don't know what to do anymore. I need advice on how to handle this mess without becoming the next target of internet hate. If you looked at Max and Jenny's Instagram, you'd think their life was perfect. Luxury resorts, designer clothes, the whole package. Their followers adore them, calling them the epitome of success and happiness. But let me tell you, it's all a well-curated facade. Max is my cousin on my mother's side, someone I distanced myself from years ago. Believe me, I wish things had stayed that way, but now I'm stuck dealing with his lies and greed. For context, I'm 28 years old and a travel micro-influencer. I won't reveal my name, but I know many of you will try to find me after this. I've built my little space on social media, sharing budget-friendly adventures, destinations, and authentic experiences. My audience is small but engaged, and I'm happy doing what I love. I don't do it for fame or popularity, just passion. Max, on the other hand, has always been the flashy type. He's got that luxury influencer vibe. Everything is smoke and mirrors. Believe me, they built their empire by scamming, getting free stuff, faking collaborations, and exploiting their followers. But their perfectly filtered life keeps the adoration rolling in. We weren't always on such different paths, and I kept my distance until recently. While I was on my last trip, Steve, my caretaker, contacted me. Steve is a hard-working 60-year-old man who looks after the land I inherited from my grandfather. He told me there was construction happening on my property. At first, I didn't know what to think. I assumed maybe Max was doing something on his own nearby land and Steve had misunderstood. But then Steve sent me a photo of the site. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. Excavators, scaffolding, and a full construction crew on my land. I've never cut a trip short in my life, but this was too much. I packed up and returned as quickly as possible to see it with my own eyes. Imagine arriving at your family's property only to find your land turned into a construction site. I thought I was losing my mind. It turns out Max decided it was the perfect place to build his family's dream home, without telling me. This was a complete invasion. A bit of background. The land in question was inherited from my late grandmother. She divided her property between Max and me. I received a sizable portion, while he got a smaller one nearby. However, Max always resented this. He had mentioned before that it was unfair and that he deserved much more. Back to the present. When I confronted Max, he hit me with a story about how our grandmother wanted us to build a big family home together. Funny how that's not mentioned anywhere in the inheritance documents, not even once. Then he pulled out a document I had never seen before, claiming it proved our grandmother's intentions. To be honest, I was stunned. I don't know if this paper is real or if they forged it to deceive me. Either way, I have no idea how they would have gotten something like this without my knowledge. When I tried to take a closer look, Max quickly put it away, saying I was hurting our grandmother's soul and that this wasn't up for debate. Convenient, right? The argument escalated quickly. I was furious, and Max kept insisting, acting like he was the victim. And guess who was recording the whole confrontation? Jenny, his wife and partner in crime. She always plays the innocent accomplice, but don't be fooled. She's just as guilty as he is in their shady schemes. I'm almost certain they edited that video to make me look like the villain and will post it online for sympathy points. They've done it before in other situations, twisting narratives to fit their perfect brand. Max's actions aren't just about the land. It's a pattern of entitlement and manipulation. He's used his fake charm to climb the influencer ranks, leaving a trail of burned relationships behind. Yes, brands pay them good money for content, but at the same time, they've had issues in the past for being less than transparent. Meanwhile, here I am, hustling for genuine collaborations and creating honest content. And somehow, I'm the one being walked all over. I know many people recognize Max and Jenny. They're practically celebrities in the influencer world. Their fans are die-hard loyal, and I'm fully aware that by posting this, I'm exposing myself to a storm of hate, maybe even threats. But I'm not lying. I'm not going to hide. I kept this Reddit post anonymous, but at the same time, I posted something about it on my Instagram profile. The truth is on my side. The ones who should feel ashamed are those who manipulate their audience. I hope their followers wake up, see the reality behind the perfectly curated facade, and recognize him for what he really is. I don't want to take this to the legal extreme, but I'm starting to think I have no other option. The mysterious document alone is a huge red flag, and the fact that Max won't let me properly examine it only makes things worse. Max and Jenny's followers adore them, and if I expose them, I risk being attacked by their fanbase. Social media is ruthless, and I've seen what happens when someone goes against people like them. It's been days since I posted that update online, and first, I want to thank everyone who has supported me through this mess. At least it's good to know that not everyone on the internet is on Max's side. Answering one of the most frequent questions about why Grandma divided the inheritance that way, I need to clarify a few things. First, the land couldn't be split equally due to the topography. Second, knowing this, Grandma left some money to make up for the difference. It's not that I was the favorite grandchild and got more because of that. She evaluated both plots and provided compensation, which, by the way, is what Max used to start his influencer career. To answer other questions, no, I don't do this full-time. It's a hobby for me. I have my job, which I got after college, but I enjoy taking photos and posting on social media. I've gained some followers, but not enough to fund all my travels. I'd say I can cover part of them and travel more, which I'm very grateful for. That being said, I honestly thought things couldn't get worse after sharing the truth about what was happening. I'm writing this post because, frankly, I can't believe how far Max and Jenny's followers have gone since my post. Jenny has been incredibly busy on social media, trying to paint me as the villain. She keeps posting about how I came after them for trying to build this so-called family dream home on my land. According to her, I'm ungrateful for not supporting their vision and for destroying our grandmother's final wish. Yes, all lies, but since they have so many followers, of course, people start believing it. The comments started rolling in, with a bunch of people calling me everything from selfish to heartless. But what I didn't expect, what I could have never imagined, was how far they would go. It wasn't just the typical hate messages. It was something much darker. I started receiving messages with threats and insults like I had never seen before. And it didn't stop there. Some disturbed individual took a picture of me from one of my trips, where I'm smiling, and drew a big red cross over my face. As if that wasn't enough, they wrote a warning, "You will regret this." At first, I tried to ignore it. People send weird stuff on the internet all the time. But it didn't stop. The messages kept coming, calling me a traitor, saying I was ruining my grandmother's legacy, accusing me of betraying everything she stood for. That was already hard to digest, but the worst part came this morning when I found something waiting for me as I went to get the mail. Taped to my door was the same photo of me, the one with the red cross over my face. But this time, there was even more written on it, "Watch your back." I stood there for a moment, trying to process it. This wasn't just some random troll trying to scare me. This was personal. I couldn't believe that Max and Jenny's fans, people who don't even know me, people who have been fed lies, could stoop this low. And the worst part? Someone must have given them my address, which is even more terrifying. But then, something clicked. I knew this was going to happen. I knew they would play dirty, especially after everything I exposed about them. Max and Jenny built their entire fake empire on lies. And of course, they weren't going to let it crumble without a fight. But they won't scare me. I've been through a lot in life, faced tough situations, and come out stronger. I'm not going to let these threats break me. What's been happening over the past few days only proves how desperate Max and Jenny are to protect their image. They've been manipulating their followers for so long, saying whatever fits their narrative, and now they're using that power to try to intimidate me. Well, it won't work. I knew this would happen when I made my Instagram post. I knew things would get ugly, but that doesn't change anything. The truth is out there now, and no amount of threats or fake stories will change that. I reached out to my lawyer about these threats. We're taking this very seriously. I'm not going to sit back and let these people try to control the narrative, especially when they're willing to go this far. But it's not just about the threats, It's about the fact that they twisted everything to make me look like the villain. That's why I shared my side of the story. Because it was the truth, and I have documents to prove it. And yet, now I'm the one being attacked. I don't think any of his followers care about checking the facts. They believe my cousin's version of the story, and that's it. I know what you're probably thinking. Why don't I just walk away from all this? Why deal with the hate, the threats, and the drama? The answer is simple. Because I'm not going to let them win. Max and Jenny think they can lie and manipulate their way out of any problem. But they're wrong. They crossed the line when they tried to steal what belongs to me, and they're going to pay for it. If they want to play stupid games, then someone needs to hold a ceremony, invite them, and give them a stupid prize. So yes, I'm angry. I'm furious. But to those who have supported me through all of this, thank you. You're the ones keeping me going. And to the others, the ones who bought into the lies, keep sending your threats. If you think they'll stop me, they won't. I knew what I was getting into when I made my posts here on Instagram, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to reclaim my land, hold on to my integrity, and soon, I'll expose the truth. That alone is enough to keep me standing. 2 weeks have passed. 2 weeks since my last update, and I want to thank everyone once again who continues to support me. That's what keeps me strong despite all the haters backing my cousin. Now, for those who hate me, those who sent threats thinking they could intimidate me, let me make something clear. I am not a coward. After the threats I received, I took legal action to protect myself. So if anyone else thinks they can come after me, they better be ready to face the consequences, because I'm prepared to defend myself. Now let's talk about what's been happening. Let's start with Max and Jenny's Instagram account, where they're putting on the same old show. The house that Max is building on my land, without my permission, isn't even close to being finished. In fact, the construction has barely started. But that doesn't stop Jenny from turning it into a goldmine of content. Every day, there's a new post. One day, a video tour of the house, tagged with every hashtag imaginable, showing off the progress. The next day, Jenny lounging on a designer couch, talking about the things she'll buy for the house when it's ready. They're bragging about the place as if it's legitimate, while we can all clearly see the paid collaboration tags on every post. And it's not just brands sending them free stuff anymore. The media is getting involved too. Max and Jenny are getting offers for collaborations and features, all while building this illusion of being successful, inspiring influencers. Meanwhile, here I am, dealing with lawyers and trying to clean up the mess they made. It's infuriating to see the audacity of it all. How they're profiting off a house that doesn't even belong to them, how they've built their entire narrative on a lie. It's surreal. But I want to do everything legally, not just to shut down their dream house fantasy, but to show all their followers that they are complete frauds. Over these past 2 weeks, I've been looking for proof that the documents Max is using to justify all of this are fake. I knew they were, but proving it has been an uphill battle. Max and Jenny flaunt their supposed legal right to the land at every opportunity, while I've been buried in paperwork and meetings with my lawyer. But finally, there's been progress. After weeks of searching, I got my hands on the documents Max claimed gave him permission to build on the property. This huge breakthrough was thanks to Steve, the caretaker. Even he knows that Max is scamming me somehow. While helping the delivery workers bring things to the house, he managed to get hold of the papers. I can't thank him enough. I handed the documents over to my lawyer, who reviewed them, and, just as I suspected, they're fake. Max didn't just forge my grandmother's signature. He also created a bunch of fake paperwork to make it look like she had approved the construction. When I got the confirmation, I felt two things: relief and rage. Relief, because I finally had the proof I needed to take them down. Rage, because Max went to such extremes to deceive everyone. This isn't just a petty dispute over land. This is fraud. And now, I'm done playing by their rules. No more lies, no more manipulation, no more arrogance. They think they can get away with anything, but my lawyer and I are filing actions to declare the house an illegal construction, and we're pushing for its demolition. And to Max and Jenny's fans who sent me hate messages, it's time for you to see the truth. You're supporting a fraud, and soon, I'll show you exactly who they really are. You deserve to know what kind of people you're idolizing. Stay tuned, there's more to come. 2 months have passed. 2 long months since my last update, and I can't even begin to describe how much everything has changed. First, I want to start by thanking all of you who stood by my side, raised your voices, and supported me through this roller coaster of experiences. I wouldn't have made it through without you. Most of you are probably wondering what happened with my story. Let's admit it, this whole situation was insane, and it was about time Max and Jenny faced the consequences. When Max and Jenny decided to go on yet another one of their fake luxury vacations, of course, sponsored by some brand, I knew it was the perfect opportunity for them to get a taste of their own medicine. They thought they were untouchable, using my absence to scheme behind my back, build that illegal house, and manipulate people into believing their lies. So, I decided it was time for them to finally face the consequences. While they were away, I took decisive legal action. With everything in order, the forged document, court approvals for demolition, and my lawyer by my side, I went live on Instagram to reveal it all. The live stream wasn't just about exposing them, but about showing the world the truth. I started by presenting the evidence, the forged signature, the manipulated documents, and every detail of what Max and Jenny had done to try to steal my land. My lawyer even joined the stream to explain how the forgery had been confirmed and why the court had approved the demolition of the house. And then came the moment of truth. I turned the camera to the demolition crew as they arrived to tear down the house Max and Jenny had built behind my back. Watching that house crumble, piece by piece, was incredibly satisfying. It wasn't just a physical demolition. It was pure justice. The same way they tried to take what was mine while I was away, I used their absence to take back what rightfully belongs to me. The live stream blew up. Thousands of people tuned in, shared it, and flooded social media with the truth. Max and Jenny's die-hard fans tried to defend them, but there wasn't much they could do while skeptics finally had undeniable proof of their lies. It was the beginning of the end for them. I know the video reached them, but I don't know how they reacted when they saw it. They probably had their classic, shocked Pikachu face, something pretty common in their videos. Once the video went viral, the sponsor funding their trip decided to pull their support, including their return flight. They had to cut the trip short, and what did they find when they got back home? Well, let's just say it wasn't the warm welcome they were used to. Their fans, who once defended every move they made, were furious. The hashtag boycott Maxon started trending, and the backlash was swift. They haven't posted anything in days, which is highly unusual for them. And to make things worse, the few posts they did make in an attempt to salvage their image only gave people a place to flood them with negative comments. Still, I want to clarify 2 things. First, one of the common accusations from die-hard haters, those still defending Max and Jenny, is that I did all of this for fame. Here's the reality. I didn't gain a huge following or any major fame from this, or at least not enough to change my life. And even if I had gained something from all of this, it wouldn't change the fact that what Max and Jenny did was wrong. Some people seem to forget that they forged documents and tried to steal land that belonged to me. If I wanted fame from this, I'd be posting on my social media all the time. Yet, throughout this entire ordeal, I've only made 2 posts. The first one on Instagram, explaining everything that was happening, and the live stream of the house being demolished. If I had really wanted attention, I could have made hundreds of posts every day, multiple times a day. Instead, I did the bare minimum to protect myself and tell my side of the story. And honestly, the fact that these posts became as popular as they did is more about how insane the situation was rather than my personal profile. I'm not gaining anything from this, aside from connecting with people who aren't blind followers of Max and Jenny. The second point I wanted to address is the idea that I should have kept the house. I discussed this with my lawyer, but he explained that it would create more problems than solutions. Since the house was built on my land, it could lead to legal issues in the future. On top of that, it wasn't even finished, and I had no interest in spending my own money to complete it. Waiting for them to finish building it also came with its own risks. So the best course of action was to prove they had no legal grounds to build and proceed with complete demolition. But Max and Jenny's problems didn't end there. There's still an ongoing lawsuit regarding the unauthorized construction that altered my land, as well as the document forgery. The construction company, which failed to verify anything, will also be sued. There's still a long legal road ahead, but I hope to come back with great news once everything is settled. It's been a while, a long time, actually. But with these kinds of legal battles, patience is key. This isn't something that gets resolved in just a few days. Besides, I have more to share, and I hope you have time to read it. First, let's talk about Max and Jenny and their social media presence. The truth is, there's no longer a Max and Jenny as we once knew them. They're separated now. I'll get into the details of their breakup later, but for now, I can tell you that their accounts have been inactive. Well, the accounts are still open, but comments are disabled, and they haven't posted in a long time. Most likely, their sponsorships have dried up too. There aren't many brands willing to pay for trips for a couple of scammers. The lawsuits were lengthy, but I managed to make them pay not only for the damage to my land, but also for the demolition costs and my lawyer's fees. Altogether, they had to pay over $85,000, and that's not even counting their own legal expenses, which I'm sure weren't cheap. From what I know, most of the money came from Max and the construction company, since they were the main culprits. Jenny, on the other hand, had only minimal involvement in the fraud. She was basically just following Max's lead, or at least, that's the conclusion that was reached. And this leads to the first reason for their breakup. The lawsuit turned into a blame game. Max wanted Jenny to share responsibility for what happened, while she did everything she could to prove she had nothing to do with the forged documents. That's why they ended up hiring separate lawyers, making the whole process even more expensive. The second reason. Their dream life was over, and Jenny walked away, leaving Max alone. A girl like her doesn't want to be with a loser, and that's exactly what Max became. As for me, the important thing is that I got my money back and secured part of the compensation. It was paid with Max's land, which originally belonged to my grandmother. So now, I have a much bigger property. I'm still not sure what to do with it. I'll probably sell it. No, I don't have any plans to build my dream house. I don't want to build anything. On another note, I've gone back to traveling and creating content for my social media, but that part of my life hasn't changed much. My follower count has doubled, but I'm still a small content creator. I hope all of you have been doing well during this time we haven't talked. And before I go, I'd love for you to share your travel experiences or recommendations for interesting places to visit. Last time, some of you suggested amazing destinations that I recently had the chance to explore. Maybe I'll find new spots for my upcoming adventures. I'd really appreciate it.